Have you ever been accused of behaving like a computer? I mean, like, of not having emotions, of being, like, too logical, as if there is such a thing as being too logical. But that's just me. That's my brain. I am a newly diagnosed autistic person, and I'm starting to understand that that's one of the ways that my brain works. I'm a logical person. I like to follow things one at a time, and I like to offer suggestions. But I've learned that, the neurotypicals don't always enjoy that. My name is Arlene Bishop. I'm a performing singer-songwriter, but I'm also a newly diagnosed autistic person. So I'm here in my music studio exploring what does it mean to be an artist on the spectrum. So let's just say, theoretically, in a conversation that, for example, me, let's say I'm part of a conversation where the other person has a problem. They've got something that they're working through, and I'm listening. I'm there for them. I'm totally with them on that. But what my brain wants to do is work it out. It's a problem that needs to be mapped out and worked out and responded to with a series of strategies. Have those strategies evaluated and then come up with the best strategy given the situation. Now that seems to me like the logical way of doing things. That's how I approach my own problems. But now that I'm a newly diagnosed autistic adult, I understand that, or I'm starting to understand that, that's not how everybody else works. That does explain some of the conflicts that I've had in the past. I think I've gotten it wrong a few times. I think that I'm being logical. I think that I'm offering solutions. I think that I'm being compassionate and I'm relating back to them what they're telling me. Right? I practiced active listening so that I could communicate better. But sometimes people know when I'm practicing my active listening, apparently. So I have been accused of being a computer, of being without emotion, of being without compassion, which is totally not true. I have a load of compassion. I have a buttload of compassion. I have too much compassion. Maybe that's why I get so logical, is because it's a bit of an yeah, it might be like a bit of an over. What is the thing? What is the computer term for an over? I might have an over of something, computer term wise. I have an excess of. I have maybe I'm short-circuiting with too much emotion. So I resort to logic. Really, I am paying attention. I am concerned. I am concerned for you. But you're not supposed to say phrases like, I am concerned for you. The specific accusation that I'm like a computer, dude, I think, I wish I was a computer. Like, for one thing, I would have, been recording this conversation that we're having where you're accusing me of not being compassionate, and I would be able to replay it for you so you could see my compassion, so you could see my eye contact, so you could see my proximity and my warmth and my nodding and all those things that I learned in active listening, which, as I say that out loud now, kind of seems like less compassion and more active listening. I wish I could scrub back into that conversation and maybe show you the video of what it is that you actually asked, or what it is that you're actually saying, and what it is that I actually said. You know what I mean? I wish maybe I could get like a PDF printout, maybe a transcript of our conversation. I wish I could replay conversations word for word. There's been a couple times when I'm pretty sure I'm being gaslit because as an autistic person, it sometimes can be easy to take advantage of me because I'm fawning. That's what it is. I'm fawning. I'm masking. So it's easier to take advantage of me, I think, sometimes, which probably isn't a good thing to be telling you. I'm definitely not going to be telling you my credit card number. That's a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. Never going to do that again. I wish my brain was a computer. I wish that I could, scrub through ideas, right? That I could just go through all the different ideas and land on the fourth idea or the first idea or the 12th idea, if I could go back and vividly recreate what that idea was. I'd like to be able to see my drafts of my ideas, because sometimes I start at one idea and then I go to a series of different ideas, and then I maybe get lost of the first thing, which is a drag. I hate it when that happens. So it would be great if I could have like a history printout of what all my ideas were before I fell into the rabbit hole and I ended up, I start looking into one thing and the next thing I know I'm looking at the circumference of Jupiter. That sort of weird things that happen. Because sometimes I go into a rabbit hole, right? One thing leads to another, this lateral thinking, and I totally lose track of the very first thing that I was thinking. That can be frustrating. I wish that I could, maybe when I make a list in my head, I wish that I could print that list out, right? Maybe like save as a PDF and then print it out. And it would be weird in a conversation if it printed out, right? Like out my mouth, that would be weird. So, I was going to say print out my butt, but that would be super weird, very awkward. So I don't know where it would print out. Probably I would need an auxiliary cable for it. There's my brain. There's my computer brain working. But what else? I wish I could, when I imagine things like that, I wish I could imagine things, a diagram. I wish I could come up with an image and print that out. That would be really interesting because I love my imagination. It's a hoot. Some wild stuff is happening in there. Yeah, I wish I could see it outside of my head. I can see it inside my head, but not outside my head. Yeah, I've got that thing. Not everybody has it. A lot of people do. I can imagine things. I imagine things very clearly and very vividly, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm an artist. I can imagine things clearly. Being a visual artist as well as being a musician. I wish I could record my dreams. How awesome would that be? I have very vivid dreams. I would love it if I could record my dreams and then play them back. And then I wouldn't have to describe them in those weird terms. You know, the way you describe a dream, like you say, like, you were there, but you weren't you, and we were in a house, but it wasn't our house, but it was our house, and it was day, but it was also night, and I was flying, but I was also standing, those kinds of weird descriptions. It would just be better if I could just show it, if I could just depict it. I wonder if that's what filmmakers do. Are you a filmmaker? Is that what you do? Do you imagine things? Is that what you do? How awesome would that be to be able to imagine something and then turn it into film? That's exciting. That's really exciting. Is that what you do as a painter? That would be interesting to know. I do that as a musician. I hear a song in my head. I often hear a song in my head. I hear a melody. I have a phrase that's been ruminating in there. And then I let it come out, which sounds kind of weird, but sometimes it can't come out, and I wish that I could record it in my head. I wish I could press record when I get a song idea. Sometimes I just belt out an idea, and it's kind of like the other idea thing, that one thing goes to another, and I lost track of where I started. I'd like to remember what key worked for me. I'd like to remember what the phrasing was, what the phrasing of the sentence was, right? What the beats were, what the tempo was, what the notes were. Oh, I wish I could remember what the notes were. I can't read or write music, but I wish that my brain could. That would be so awesome. That'd be so awesome if my brain was a computer and I could print out a score. I would love it if I could print out a score. And then I could talk to musicians in musician speak. That would be neat. I wish I could just replay my song ideas. If I could just, press record when I had an idea and then press play. Yeah, I wish my brain was a computer. If I was a computer, I would love to be able to visit the memories that I want to be able to visit. Yeah, bad memories, I would press stop on the bad memories. Maybe with a therapist I could go through them frame by frame and deal with them. That would be good. But if I wasn't feeling like I wanted to explore a difficult memory, it would be great if I could press pause or stop. But if I wanted to visit a good memory, if I wanted to visit a person who I can't see anymore because they're not here anymore, I would love it if I could do that. If I could hear their voice, you know, that thing about seeing someone's face and hearing someone's voice. Yeah, if my brain was a computer, I'd be able to do that. Yeah, but it's not. Probably the one thing that my brain would always be doing, if my brain actually was a computer, the one thing that I would always be doing, I'd probably be pressing the undo button. Yeah, undo, unsay that thing I just said, unthink that thing I just thought, or yeah, mostly just undo that thing I just said. Especially during that conversation where I'm not being compassionate enough or empathetic enough, apparently. But I am. I'm just a logical person. That's part of being autistic for me. That's one of my traits. Oh, you know what? You know what? You know what? Is that for you as well? Because here's another thing which I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about that in the next video. I'll talk about it in the next video. I wish my brain had a GPS. If my brain had a GPS, I wouldn't get lost so much. Well, is this you? Does any of this resonate with you? I'd love to hear about it. Leave me a comment. Leave me a like. Leave me a describe. Leave me a subscribe. Thank you for coming. I'll see you soon. Let's go talk about the GPS in the brain thing. Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, GPS in the brain. What was I talking about? Right, brain as computer.